Listen, Christian, I'm always learning from you, and I want to continue to learn from you the more you're in my life for sure. We talked about doing seminars together. The main reason is I always want you to share your story because, when I had a chance to watch my dad grow older, but as a child, I was told my father wasn't going to live past 50. So for me, it was a constant reminder, right? He retired very young because of that, because he said, I want to enjoy my family. So he retired young. He was able to do that. Not everybody can do that. He did that. But with you, when I heard your story of your dad, and then you turned your whole life around and said, you know what? If that happened to my dad, if I can be that for someone else, for another young person, or even a younger person, and be able to talk to their father about providing that wealth for their future, and even more than that, security, right? Because again, we can't control everything, right? So I appreciate everything, and certainly sharing your story of your dad to me is always impactful to me because I get, as a friend, I get to hear you, I get to see you, I get to, work with you in other ventures, business development, and things like that. But I'll say that my story very well, and someone you work with, it was my living benefit. I try to explain that to people, and people don't understand what that means. In my case, what he did is he paid my rent. He was able to help me even fundraise and through the gyms that I was regional off, and he was able to help me with food expenses, things like that. He was able to go out of his way and say, David, I got you, right? So, but for on a you get to geek out a little bit now from a normal term. What is a living benefit?
Living benefits is disability insurance, like through work. Now, where people where people don't really connect the fact that if you get sick, sometimes disability insurance may not be there. And if you don't have anything to be your own private living benefit, but Social Security is not going to take care of you. I mean, you'll drain a 401k and you'll call that a living benefit, but a true living benefit is it's having protection from critical, chronic, and terminal illness. Now, in case critical illness isn't too clear, it's something that happens critically. A heart attack, invasive cancer, stroke, aneurysm. Chronic illness is a little bit more long term. Debilitating car accident, right? A longer term health issue. And terminal illness is a little bit more straightforward. It's diagnosis of a illness that is 12 months or less to live by a physician. You just never know when anything could happen to you. My father was 62. He's 66 now, but he's a pilot. He got medical checks done every 6 to 12 months. He was healthy. He'd walk around the tarmac with the planes. He'd go and walk around the business to the maintenance department, which was half a mile away. He was active. He never knew that genetically he was more prone to heart disease. It was out of left field. So when it really came down to him being sick, it was way beyond our control. And he had a living benefit through his life insurance. He was able to withdraw money from the cash value that he had built up over time to help fund all the expenses that come with becoming sick. Our medical bills at the hospitals, it's close to $1 million. But obviously, we didn't have to pay that. Thank you, health insurance. We still had to pay $500 a month for medicine. All the doctor's visits, probably close to another $500 a month. And it's not something that anyone ever takes into account. Most people may lose their home. The number one reason for foreclosure is medical emergencies. And so many times, people lose their greatest asset, their home, because they weren't protected from the worst that could happen. So that was definitely something I watched over time. And I think earlier you had mentioned too, is it easy? And it's not easy. I think any challenge in life means you're getting prepared for something even bigger to come after. Any struggle, any down pivot means that you're on the horizon of something else that's truly going to be great. And so many people get bogged down in that fear of failure or even a fear of success. But when you can learn to be disciplined, just like my dad was when he opened up his flight school 20 something years ago, and he was consistent, and every day he would be at the airport, he would look for students, and he built it brick by brick. That, I think, is a true testament to hard work and discipline. And it's something that now I carry with me because I have good days and I'll have bad days. But not letting the bad days take over and be too overwhelming, it's a skill set. And even today, getting stressed out on such a trivial thing like wardrobe, because I want to look good for the camera. So stressing myself out to the point of almost having a panic attack for unnecessary things. But maintaining a level head when everything else can go sideways, when I've set up 8 appointments in one day and not a single person shows up, because that's life. It's maintaining that ability to stay disciplined and to truly keep drawing on your passion.
Well, I will say that, I think you're probably stressed out because I was interviewing you today. So it's probably just me. But I would say that everything you said, it was so proper and very direct. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think people need to be more direct and understand that this is not that, hey, it's not the end of the world, but it could be. Because when you lose your mortgage or you can't pay your bills or things like that, there's people that I know I've talked to, especially battling cancer, that it's like, well, it's more expensive for me to live than to die. So why fight? And I've had those conversations with cancer patients and their families, right? So for me, that's why I felt it was important that I wanted to collaborate with you and do, not just this interview, but do seminars with you or do events with you for entrepreneurs, because maybe they don't get into this field. But I believe that if we're living our purpose, we're truly living our lives, right? So maybe protect and prosper and purpose should be the third one in there, because you are living your purpose. And here's the thing, you said 8 people said no or didn't even show up. They didn't even get a chance to say no. It's just they got distracted with life. Mm-hmm. That's what life does. I always say when people get distracted, it's usually they're being distracted from something really good, but they do what they want, not what they need. So remember that, because that's how I look at my life all the time. If there's a Mark Anthony concert tomorrow, I might drop everything if I get a ticket. But maybe I needed to be with someone that needed me that day. So that's how my life changed. And I think your life is changing as you also talk to some of your clients. But I really believe that one yes makes a huge difference, because now not only did you protect and help them, that eventually they would prosper, but that yes, you changed a life and maybe the lives of their family. So Christian, the work you're doing, what do you see yourself 6 months to a year?
6 months to a year from now, I'd say continuing to grow, first and foremost. But I want to be able to go and transfer the skill set of communicating and helping other people with others. One of the biggest things for me is I've spent the last year now really perfecting the craft and just developing a specialized skill set in not only product knowledge, but also in the ability to go out there and start coaching other people. So for me, one of the biggest things now is I want to focus on finding other like-minded individuals, other self-sufficient leaders that want to go out there and make it happen for themselves, that I can go out there and work together alongside with.
So Christian, what are you looking in those self-sufficient people to join your team, to join your group? What are those qualifications that you're kind of looking for?
Some of the qualifications that I look for in others is first and foremost consistency and discipline. I think that's definitely a hard skill to teach of how to be able to stay true to oneself. But one skill I can't teach other people is how to care about others. And I think one of the biggest things I look for in other people is a true willingness to help other people and to care. Because I can't teach you how to care. I could teach you everything else, but that's one of the hardest skill sets because it's not only caring about others, but you have to care about yourself and care about the people you surround yourself with, care about the way that you see yourself and the way that others see yourself. So I'd say the ability to truly care in all ways, shapes, and forms is one of the biggest qualities I look for in people I'd like to work alongside with.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. That's one of the biggest points in terms of getting through to people, getting them to trust you, because they're trusting you with a decision that is a lifelong decision, right? Getting a policy is for lifelong. But I think also the other part of it is being empathetic to their plight and understanding their situation. Because I believe you build relationship with your clients, don't you?
Yep. You definitely build a lot of relationships. I mean, it's a lifelong commitment when you are working with people because come rain or shine, you're there for them. And I truly do care about my clients and I let them know it's why it frustrates me so much when someone says, "Oh, this is just another commission for you." No, it's an opportunity to care and to help you care for your family because life insurance is there when you need it the most. And for me, building financial security, it's one of the most important things that you can do, not only for yourself, but for the people that you care about. So that's why I guess I care so much that it seeps through my pores sometimes because I truly love helping others. And on top of that, helping others become financially free.
Well, I think with your story and your experience through your own personal experience, your own personal story, I think the more people get to know that part of the story, they'll be able to actually connect with you. I think that would be something that anyone that works in your group, in your company, is able to have their own experiences as well. I think maybe that's one of the things you should look for is someone has actually had those experiences, even for themselves, or maybe one of their testimonies from some other clients, right? And I think that that's something that you're going to continue to share as you continue to grow. You know, one of the things I really admire about you is you're very educated. You got a degree in finance, correct? And I know numbers is a big thing for you, and certainly money, and making a wealth and take care of your family. That's very important to you as well. But what would be something that, like, let's say your company is doing well, everything is you're hitting in all cylinders. Your group is one of the top groups in the company. What is one thing that you would do? Like, let's say you're financially secure, you're taking care of people, you already have your team. What is one thing you think we need as a society? I think you mentioned it early. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but what is one of those things that you would like to teach others?
So in terms of being able to give back to the community and to the people I care about, when I am at that 100% financially secure for not only me but for my family, it's to promote financial literacy within the community. I've seen time and time again that you just don't know what you don't know. And financial literacy is something that the government does not want people to know because then they can't make money off of them. They can't have people depending on them and incurring more debt and just not becoming financially free. There's a reason they don't teach it in school. So I hope to be able to be a library of financial literacy for the people in my community. And it's one of the small things I've started to do now, just as a hobby, is posting a lot of videos on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, where I just hope that someone that watches one of my videos is able to take away a valuable piece of knowledge and information and hopefully implement it into their lives, because it's all important. But there's just so much that we don't know. And there's so much of an information overload in today's day and age that it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong. So I hope to be a true source of financial knowledge to a lot of people. And I hope to grow bigger than the community that I'm currently in, and to really have it as a national effort, if not around the world. But I'd like to start here at home first.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing events with you, Christian, and be able to host some of those events. And maybe you take the time at those events to actually do a little teaching. And because again, it's like every event that we do in marketing or branding or just any kind of entrepreneurship, we always give them nuggets. We always give them some things that they can actually do already, even if it's helping them find an app or some kind of resource that they can help them where they are today. So I look forward to maybe doing those things in the future, maybe this year, and you'll be able to teach some of those nuggets, because I think everybody can learn a little bit from those things. One thing that I was thinking about as we continue this conversation, it was really about not only that part of your life, but understanding that as you're teaching these people, you're building a community, and I believe in community building. I think that's where people actually find themselves making a difference, because now you become this leader for this community that you're able to not only enhance their life, right? And that's kind of the theme I think of this conversation is, how does Christian Dean enhance the lives of the people that are in front of him every single day? You know, I know that one of the things that I look at is in debt. I believe every family, or most people right now in the country, in the United States of America, the average is $7,000 to $10,000 in debt, credit card debt. And that's not, again, I don't know where they're taking the poll, but I know for a fact when it comes to colleges, when I go to colleges and speak, or high schools, and I speak to kids or whatever, and I get to hear about their brother and sister, that their college debt is huge. But this is not college debt. This is a normal day to day that people are counting on credit cards. So my question is, Christian, again, I want to know. I'm gathering information from you. You're the one teaching today. What is something you could tell someone that is in $7,000 in debt in credit card, that you can tell them how they're able to buy a policy and be able to take care of their future?
When we're looking at overcoming obstacles, because I think having debt in itself is a gigantic obstacle, you can never put a price on peace of mind. And people come up with excuses of why they may not need X, Y, and Z. You can have life insurance for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. And most people don't understand, because of a lack of education, that you can protect your family and not have to be putting yourself in a tougher financial spot. Why not? Why not spend the $1 a day or 50 cents a day? There are policies you can get for $10 or $12 a month. It may not be the moon, but it's something, and something is better than nothing. And people need to stop and realize $12 on a life insurance policy is better than their family spending $15,000 out of pocket or on credit cards, getting themselves further into debt to pay for your burial and funeral. And they're already going through the most difficult time in their lives because their family's just been ripped apart because you're no longer there. So yeah, work insurance is great, but what's $12 a month for peace of mind? So I think making it a priority is the biggest thing that people can do, because $7,000 in credit card debt's just going to keep accumulating unless you learn that control and stopping. But is that something that you would want to pass on to your family? Is that stress that you feel? Because I know I felt it. That's something that you really want to leave behind? or do you want to leave behind a financially secure future? So I guess that's what I'd have to say to people that are overwhelmed, because I know I've been overwhelmed with debt. Just take a second and do what needs to be done.
I think you said it right there when you said something is better than nothing. It's something that I've used a lot sometimes. A little bit of my background. I was able to manage health clubs for many years successfully, thank God. And one of the things I used to have right by the office or sometimes by the bathroom is we had a board. I used to manage Gold's Gym, so we had the Gold's Gym board, and there it says the price of pizza, the price of a tank of gas, the price of just things that are daily expenses, price of coffee. Now I remember back then. This is how I'm aging myself, but it was like I think it was $5 a cup of coffee. I don't know if can you find a cup of coffee for $5 anymore. I don't know, but the interesting part of it is like what you said. That board, there were people that would go to the bathroom, then come back to my office and say, you know what, I can afford $30. I just got to cut this, and this. So I think that's going to be a challenge, is to share with people that, maybe Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime and Paramount and Peacock and all the, you can go on and on. Maybe you don't need all of them one month. Just, have peace of mind by giving up one account every month. Mm-hmm. But remember what I said earlier. We do what we want, not what we need.
Yeah.
People will spend thousands of dollars going to go see Taylor Swift, Beyonce. I know I spend it going to see Mark Anthony. So I will tell you that we do it even when we don't have it. So, Christian, is there maybe one last thing? How could you explain that to somebody that to need to want to do this? What's one more piece of advice that you can give us today?
To need to want to protect your family? That's a good question. I guess if we were really going to break it down of what would it take for someone to stop and think about why they should, I guess just think back to the last person that died in your family. If you really could just take a second and think, whether it was a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, what did that look like when they died? Like, wait a second and truly stop and think. What did it look like when they died? Was their family sharing a GoFundMe? Was their family crying and asking everyone within the family for money? Because I know that's the story with most people. It's never enough, whether you're insured through work or self-insured. What was that experience like for the people you left behind, or for the people you know that were affected by someone that left too soon? Most of the time, people don't share the stories of beauty, of financial peace and generational wealth, because most of the time people don't want to have to share their wealth. If someone passed away and they left their family with $100,000 check, you don't see them posting that on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. But when someone dies and they leave their family with a mountain of debt because they didn't have any life insurance, you see the GoFundMe. Don't be a GoFundMe family. Take a second and protect what matters most, which is your peace of mind.
Thank you, Christian. And I would probably just add just one more thing. I think they don't know what they don't know. And I think the work you're doing, educating and sharing your knowledge in finance, financial literacy, in financial wealth, and also protecting your family, I think that's going to go a long way in your future. So thank you for making time today. I really appreciate you coming down to the studio and having this conversation with me. And I look forward to doing a lot of work with you in the future, collaborating and doing seminars and being able to teach more people about what Protect and Prosper can do for them and their family. God bless. Take care.